This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Upgrade your business with Shopify, home of the #1 checkout on the planet. Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning fewer carts going abandoned and more sales going cha-ching. So if you're into growing your business, get a commerce platform that's ready to sell wherever your customers are. Visit shopify.com to upgrade your selling today.
Craven the Hunter, who uses all the methods of the animals.
This Thursday, witness the making of a new Marvel villain.
Once you're on his list, there's only one way off.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is Craven the Hunter. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Points Power Ranking Show. I am DK Sizzle. I am here with Hollywood Rayshawn Buchanan. It's just the two of us. When we can make it if we try, Ray. Right off the bat, the biggest news of the week. We always start off the Power Ranking Show with the NFL news of the week. I was reading an interesting article today that says the NFL may cut ties with Rock Nation, Jay-Z, for this alleged lawsuit scandal. Big businessman. And this is big business, man. Not to steal your line that you were going to say. It just sort of came out like that.
Let me handle my business, damn, yeah.
But I'm interested to get your thoughts on the whole thing. What do you make of his response? What do you make of, if I feel like if the NFL is cutting ties with you, you must have done some real diabolical shit because they don't give a fuck most of the time. What do you make of the whole thing? I'm just interested to hear your thoughts.
Oh, one more terrible pun, not terrible pun, but one more. It's like, dude saying they made a move. Okay, so make another one. So he might be saying that to the NFL, like, hey, y'all saying that they're making another move. So, let's see what happens. But no, on a serious note, obviously these are serious allegations.
Dark shit that he's accused of, I have to say.
No, pretty much, especially with just what's going on in 2024 as a whole. Like, Cat Williams really opened up the portal, and like I said, it's unbelievable. Like,
didn't he? Who would have had that on their bingo card? Fucking Cat Williams goes on Shannon Sharp's podcast.
The Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Portal, and it's just it's unbelievable. But no, but seriously,
it makes me think the shit he was saying was all true.
I wonder who's going to start on 2025 because once again, 2024 was the year of revealing a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, listen, they obviously when that stuff happens, like they clearly always know more than what we know in the public. Obviously, maybe there was something they were sitting on for a while. So not the NFL, but I'm saying, just whoever was going to give the charge, they were sitting on for a while, and they just chose to pull the trigger at this time. So that part, it is what it is. What was even more wild, and this was like on a blog post or whatever, I'm gonna say it because I thought it was wild if it's true. Apparently, Beyonce's mother had liked the post that someone was talking about Jay-Z being, a person that committed sexual assault, and she liked the post, and I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, even if you wasn't feeling your son-in-law, like, this is not the time, Ms. Knowles.
Wow.
Right. This is not the time to
I get the feeling her family isn't a huge fan of him, just based on various things.
I'm saying, well, I mean, we know Solange isn't, but it's just like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, hey, it's probably been on site for about a good 10 years. So, it made the Ray Rice video look wild, but I don't want to joke about that, but it's crazy. Excuse me. But just think that, and all jokes aside, it is pretty bad. Like I said, the NFL is looking to get rid of you. I mean, once again, I can see, I can't see the resolution. I don't know what the resolution is going to be, but, hey, I mean, once again, you can hope that it's not true, but at the same time, those murmurs might be too loud in the end, and it might be the downfall of him, unfortunately.
I guess I just like, if you had asked me a year or so ago, is Diddy even cancelable? I probably would have said no. I probably would have said, like, whatever you come out with, he'll probably be fine. Right? Like he just is going to be able to sort of like weather it. And it just seems like, no, that's, no one's above the law, I guess. And like, you might go to actual jail.
Right.
We saw it at the start of the Me Too movement, which I do think like did a lot of good. If it then eventually, I think we can all agree, like overcorrected. We saw it at the very start. Harvey Weinstein, like that motherfucker went to jail for the shit that he did. You know what I mean? Like there's the court of public opinion and then there's the fucking court, right? Like it's a little bit different. It sucks, I'm sure, if you get canceled, if you're like famous, But I mean, I hope you managed your money well. You know, I don't think Jay-Z is ever going to be poor. Uh,
No.
but I now am sort of in the era where I can believe somebody of his stature, you know, the first billionaire, sort of power couple of the hip hop game of the 2000s, of our childhood. Can they survive this? I mean, does she stick with him? I mean, this isn't a gossip podcast, but like, does she stick with him? You know, like what unfolds here? At the end of the day, if it did happen, I hope that poor girl gets every red cent that he could possibly give up in court. And I hope she's all right. To be honest with you, I don't want to like morally grandstand, but like, Jesus Christ, if he did do that shit, he deserves everything that's coming to him. That being said, I always thought he didn't really deserve the beats that he got. I'm just gonna fucking come right out and say it. And I'm not unhappy because I'm on record about that already. It's not like I'm kicking him.
That's a whole other.
I firmly took Nas's side, Ray. I firmly planted my flag in a can, and it's because I always thought Nas was the far superior lyricist. And at the end of the day, everybody always used to say to me when we'd argue about this stuff, yeah, but Jay-Z won the war because business wise, look what he did. He did this, he did that. Well, the war is never over, my friend. This beef never stops. Nas is like, anyway, interesting. I mean, as far as the NFL connection goes, I'm hoping that it's not any sort of like face saving move from the NFL that like won't make Tua wear a Guardian cap. You know, it's like at the end of the day, like they're always going to make a business decision. So it's going to be a really big bellwether for how fucked Jay-Z actually is. If the NFL specifically do go like, never mind about that guy, and with the amount of lucrative sort of opportunities they've brought each other. And like, I mean, let's be honest, like when they go into business with Jay-Z, at the time that they go into business with Jay-Z, they're like, well, we're part of the culture. You're sort of like a thought leader in the culture for better or for worse. Mm-hmm. And we're going to use this to buy street cred as an organization and pretend we're not a bunch of like old white men that own this whole fucking shindig. So, you know,
the only thing I'll say though,
where does the clout go? You know what I mean? Like, where is it a clout decision? I guess is my question.
I mean, probably. I mean, like I said, they was going to protect the shield. We know that, and no one's breaking the shield. We learned that time and time again. What I will say, just as a fan, personally, I'm not trying to go back to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Those type of shows, I'm not trying to go back to that. I'm not trying.
Oh, you mean like the halftime shows?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to go back to those.
I think we peaked with Prince.
Sure, but I'm just like, I'm like, once again, you can only get one Prince, you're going to get one MJ, you're going to get, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just don't want to go back to those type of shows. Once again, I
agree. I mean, I thought the Eminem, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre halftime show was the best in a long time. Long time.
Phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, that's how good it was. I still watched it.
Who was it this year?
It's Kendrick.
Do we know?
It's Kendrick.
Oh, yeah.
It's Kendrick. Yeah. Kendrick.
Only one person congratulated him. And who was that? Nas.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Well, I mean, Drake is Jay-Z in this regard.
Right. Dude, talk about that for a second. He's suing him?
That's soft. That's
Dude,
soft.
Talk about not like us being accurate, bro. Like you do not understand, bro. You're fucking getting the cops involved. Come on.
But you can't say, and like I said, I can't believe this is actually, if there's anyone on the show that's going to do this, is you and me, but it's fine. I can't believe that that's where it got to. It's like, and I think Styles P said it best. I forget what podcast he went on, but he was spot on. He was like, yo, he said, ain't no rules. Like he said, yo, you already crossed the line when you talked about wife, kids. Like, so now it's a wrap. Whatever I say after that, it's fair game because you already came with the fam. And I'm like, I fully agree with that. Cause I'm like, yo, once you can't, you want to say anything about me, my crew, the record label, fine, whatever. That's fine. That's competition. We good. But now you made it personal. You talk about my wife, kids, and you mad about it's the struck record is probably A minor. Like you're mad about
he had the whole goddamn world singing that shit.
Like the whole world. It literally played the song 5 times in a row. And they went crazy every time. Every time. Like, come on. So I don't know. I just think to me, it's a bad look on his behalf for sure. You know, but same thing. Even though, like, and everyone knows I'm a Hov guy, but people remember when that stuff went down with Ether, he was on Hot 97, basically damn near crying to Angie Martinez. Once again, and I can take the bias out of it. I'm an old guy. What happened, happened. He was at Hot 97. Oh, I can't believe it. Hey, he put it out there. He made you look foolish in that moment. Like, well, he made you look. You were slave to a page in this rhyme book, Getting money, big boy. Playboy, your time's up, Hey, I don't know. We probably could do an hour on this, honestly, but I'm like,
I'm happy to.
well, yeah, no, let's do it. But no, it's either way, it's pure madness going on. And like I said, I just think to me, it's really bad that I want to see more get exposed in 2025. Like, I'm just like, who else can get exposed next year?
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see. Yeah, let's see. I mean, listen,
break that Williams on again on New Year's Day. Break him.
Have a name every Illuminati ass motherfucker out there.
Please, please.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, just to the Drake lawsuit thing, like, I'm obviously a very, very white person, but when I was in my formative years, hip hop had taken over the culture completely. And like, I have a lot of respect for Black culture. A lot of the rules, the unwritten rules I learned about via song, because it was like my favorite genre when I was in high school. Right. And it was like all the rap songs I listened to taught me a lot of lessons. And one of the most important lessons that I learned about hip hop culture, Black culture, whatever you want to call it, you don't call the cops, bro. You don't call the fucking cops, dude. And like, that's what Drake did. He called the fucking cops on this guy. He get off my lawn to me. It's just, you can't be doing that. And unfortunately, all it did was add prescience to the nomer of, you're not like us. Like, you're not from the streets, bro. Like, the whole campaign. Yeah, there was jibes about him being a pedophile and like hanging out with Millie Bobby Brown when she wasn't 18 and shit, which, like, fair game. I agree with you. But the main push of the campaign is like, yo, you bought your street cred. You're the little fucker from Degrassi. If you come at me, we deal with it in a different way. Right. And now he's in court and he proved it. He proved everything Kendrick said. So, and it's like, and here's the thing that really shows he doesn't understand what happened, is that he thinks he's suing them for allegedly artificially inflating the numbers of that song. And that means he doesn't realize it was a bop. It was an absolute fucking bop. So he could never look past what the song's subject matter was and appreciate it for what it was, which was a fucking banger.
But once again, this is my final thing. But he knows better, because even when he came out with Red Dean, well, I mean, his first thing he came out was the Replacement Girl. I think mixtape a song with her Trey Songz back in the day, but he really blew up once he did. Best I Ever Had. Buzz so big I could probably sell Blame This. Like, that was one of the crazy bars for that line, for that mixtape. And it's like his numbers were something we haven't seen before, maybe since 50 Cent at that time. So he knows. And when people thought that his stuff was being inflated, I'm like, no, Drake was that big. And once again, to the newer age that is listening to Kendrick knows, oh, Drake is this and this. No, there was a time, but he had a good 5 or 6 year run where he was on everything and he was the man. And everybody wanted to feature with Drake. Everybody. I'm gonna give him his due.
He arguably put together the greatest feature track. He arguably put together the greatest feature track of all time with Forever. Like, if you look at that as far as the numbers that track did, the names that were on it, and again, you said you illustrated this point beautifully. Is like, you have to put it in context for what it was. If kids these days might not think Kanye, Yeezy, Eminem, and Drake on a song all together was like a big deal, but that was number one, number two, number three. Where it was like 1A, 1B, and 1C were all on a track together at that point, as far as popularity, influence, numbers, ability. I leave Drake a little bit out of that. I do think that Drake gets absolutely blown up that fucking song. I think Kanye actually hangs, quite honestly, but obviously Lil Wayne and Eminem were both at the top of their game at that point. So, I think it's a little bit of a toss up between the two. I give it to Eminem. But I don't give it to Eminem on Drop the World. Really. I give that one to Lil Wayne, or closer to even.
Same thing on No Love.
No Love, I give to Wayne. I actually do give to Wayne.
Went ballistic on No Love.
He went berserk.
Yeah,
He went
berserk.
absolutely berserk. I don't
Unbelievable.
think he killed Eminem, and I don't think Eminem ever killed him. I think that he was like one of the only, like, can't think of anyone else Eminem doesn't murder. He kind of puts guys on now, like that one with Juice WRLD. Have you heard that one? And it's like, I
Yeah.
think he doesn't kill them like a little bit on purpose. You know what I mean? He like lets them go for like longer bars and shit because he knows. But anyway, I had a point about that. Yeah, to your point, Drake was fucking huge. He was enormous. And it is weird to see him sort of get knifed in the sort of cultural view of the whole thing by Kendrick. I mean, even what was the first response he put out that Kendrick put out, where he actually like said some shit? It was only like a couple of,
The Future track, like that's
yeah,
the
like
direct
that.
hit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he's only has like one verse on it, right? But in that verse, he basically says like, do you want to have a gunfight? And you're just
Yeah.
like, what you have to understand about that guy is like, he will. Like, he was like, fuck rap. He's like, I'll leave
Well,
it all behind. I kind of believe him.
Right. This is the thing, though, right? Family Matters was actually a pretty hard track. It was dope. Family Matters is actually really dope. But the problem is no one cared because that's like Family Matters is actually pretty good. Like I don't want to say it and act like, oh, it was trash, because it wasn't. Yeah, he came with some heat, and I was just like, oh, like he's in for it. But then once again, and shout out to my boy Brandon, because he says it all the time, and it's just so true. You have to leave these West Coast guys alone when it comes to. So whether it's DJ Quick, whether it's Ice Cube, whether it's like stop, leave the West Coast guys alone. You know, MC8, E40, like MC Hammer, leave these guys alone. These guys live for the beef on the West Coast. Let it go. There's no need to keep engaging with these guys on the West Coast. Just stop. And I don't care who you are. Just stop. Just stop.
I would play you one clip. I would literally just play you one clip to reiterate and prove your point. I would play anybody that's disagreeing with that. Suge Knight at the Source Awards being like, dude, I want the record label where the executive producers all up in the videos, all in the records, dancing, and come to death row. And then Snoop has to be like, kind of half like, fuck all you guys, we're not scared, but we would like to leave without having a gunfight. It's essentially what he says by being like, y'all don't fuck with Snoop Dogg, you don't fuck with the West Coast. And he's like, I'm not fucking scared. Just for the record, I'm not scared, but like, we would like to leave. Like, because it's a room full of like very intense motherfuckers, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
I would just say, like, they were completely outnumbered. They were in New York, and they probably would have gone out shooting. I'm just saying. If I was to guess based on like all their actions.
Absolutely. Like that would have been ugly. And we would have had a lot of different stories to remember at the stage. So yeah. But
yeah.
Love it.
Wow. Great. Trip down memory lane there. I love it. It's all connected. We're gonna do football now. Bill went to UNC. How do you feel? How do you feel about people?
I don't love it, but I understand why he's doing it. If you feel that you've been shunned by the NFL and, you know, your way of coaching and, you know, building a team, building character, building up coaches that will be future coaches, his whole Patriot way, his whole do your job mentality, has really left the NFL. And it was simple, but it was complicated at times. And, you know, for him to be that close to the record, you know, we talked about it on our interview with Clarke and Rayshawn. So you just go back and watch that, because that was a good one. But I think that he realized that his days in the NFL were numbered and it was over. And I don't know why it was North Carolina. I mean, I know they just let go of Mac Brown. You know, it was a college legend in his own right, as far as coaching goes. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. They're going to have a bunch of fifth-year seniors. They're going to win 9. They're going to win 9 games, and they're going to be in the college playoffs. Like, that's going to happen. And I think if he found a way to win a natty down there, I mean, he's already the best coach of all time. But that would just it would further cement the legacy if he was to win down there.
Yeah, How do you feel about the idea that we've been banging the drum? I mean, notably, you and Mike have been really banging the drum about his GMing ability in the NFL. How do you think that first off, how does that job in general translate to being able to scout talent for a college football program? And like, do you think because it's Bill Belichick, giving him the keys to the castle, as we all know UNC did, I mean, if this 4,000-page dossier on how he is going to run the program and the requirements he has and, you know, their agreements for bringing him in, meeting certain financial thresholds, coaching payments, it seems like it was all in there. Seems like there was no stone unturned. So
Right.
how do you feel about giving him the keys to the car to this degree? It's, you're really riding or dying with Bill Belichick, which I don't think is a terrible idea. Historically, it's proven not to be, totally honest, with the exception of those last, 4 years in New England.
Mm.
How do those things translate in general? And how do you think they're going to translate in this situation, if you could speculate?
So one, I can't wait to hear the recruiting stories. I cannot wait. Um,
Bill
it's
Belichick coming to your house is wild, huh? If you're like a senior in high school.
because his former players have already been laughing about it. Like the McCourties have laughed about it. Uh, Even Tom Brady clowned him about it. Tom was like, I can't imagine him going to someone's house saying, "Look, we really don't want you anyways." It's like, you want more money, but you just got the F on the history test. What are we doing here? Like, so it's that's going to be very funny to hear. I just thought it was funny that he bashed the quarterback that just came from North Carolina that's in New England, and now he's down there in North Carolina. So yeah, I think that's funny at the same school that he was bashing the quarterback play. So I think that's hilarious. So, but yeah, I'll see. But like I say, he won't have too many freshmen that will be sitting there playing. You're going to be a sophomore, junior. Like if you're a sophomore, junior that's been kind of middling or meddling somewhere else that hasn't done well, he's going to be great for you because he's going to show you the game. He's going to show you all the techniques. And once again, his coaching mind is still, second to none. They're going to be the most prepared team in college football, hands down. It would not be even close. He prepares for every situation. So that from that standpoint, they're going to be fine. Recruiting, we'll see. But like I said, from a coaching standpoint, those players will be better if they get to the league because they'll know just about every scenario possible because you can't play for him if you don't. So that's just how it is.
But has he elevated just by being Bill Belichick, at least in his first couple of years down there? Has he elevated UNC's pull to that of an Alabama already? Or is that too much to say?
It should because college football is more so about the coaches. So you think about Dabo, you think about Nick Saban, you think about Jim Harbaugh when he was at Stanford and obviously at Michigan. Jim Tressel back in the day at at Ohio State. So those are Jimmy Johnson with the U. Coaches are the face, so you do put that into consideration for the most part. I wonder who he puts around him. I'm assuming McDaniels goes down there with him. I'm assuming, we talked about Joe Judge and everyone else following him down there. That's what Karen had mentioned the other day on the show. So we'll see, but I definitely think McDaniels follows him down there. I wonder who he has as like the defensive coordinator. But yeah, he'll have those guys ready. But I don't know if it'd be on the Alabama level yet. But we'll find out. We'll find out if those guys can handle playing, for a coach that has seen it all. It'd be funny to see him try to be relatable to the younger kids, because to me, he's very much like Saban, which is why they were on the same coaching staff back in Cleveland. Saban clearly has a little bit of a personality because we're seeing it in college game day. Like, dude has been fucking hilarious on there.
Well, also, listening to Nick Saban talk about football, and I didn't really realize this, but listening to him until this last offseason, listening to him talk about football is, it feels like you're sitting next to the Dalai Lama, like just hearing about like what, and Bill just doesn't have that same thing. I'm sure he knows as much as Nick Saban does, or if not more, about the game and like the history of the game and how to coach and, what level, et cetera, et cetera. But listening to Nick Saban talk about football, it's like sitting next to a fucking Jedi master. It's crazy. And I could do it for the next week straight. Just give me hours and hours of audiobook of that, and I'll 100% consume it. But so I wonder, if that cult of personality thing is really much more impactful in the college game, because you are trying to bring a group of kids together and sort of selling them a dream, as opposed to 900 different situations on an NFL roster, business decisions. Your best cornerback needs to make sure that he gets fucking paid before he gets himself hurt, et cetera, et cetera.
Well,
in contract years, like.
Can you imagine if a kid's telling him he's not going to play a bowl game? Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I can't. How do you go up to? How do you go up to the?
I don't think he brings that kid in. That's the thing, as I just don't think that kid gets brought to the program in the first place.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a world where it's just so not hyperbolic to say something like, in 5 years, Bill Belichick will send the most pro-ready quarterback in NFL history to the draft. Like I just don't think it would be an insane scenario to play out. And it would be like cut and dry, right? Where I'm talking like just a layman can look at him play quarterback in college and be like, that's the most NFL ready quarterback I've ever seen in a college uniform. Right. And does that translate? Does it do this? Is that an achievement for Belichick, to sort of say, national title, sure, but also like, I still fucking got you guys. I'm still sending this kid in to just dominate your league because I still get it. And you guys are dumb for letting me go.
I think for him, if you're a running back or a secondary player, you absolutely want to go down there. Because the one thing he's always been able to find is a good running back, and he knows how to find a good secondary player. It's just
if he finds the guy, it's a good point. It's a good point.
So if you play that position, you absolutely want to go down there because his eye for running backs, his eye for secondaries is second to none. Linebackers too, And I just thought about this, right? Because he's going to UNC. This is a super long shot. He'd be such a wild card, literally. I wonder if he reached out to LT, if LT will come down there with them and coach. I wonder.
Interesting.
Because Lawrence Taylor is
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that would be that. I mean, like, once again, if there's any player that he never speaks bad about, and I mean ever, is Lawrence Taylor. Like he holds him in such high regard as he should. He is the greatest defensive player of all time. Some may say Reggie White, you may say Dion, but Lawrence Taylor struck fair every week in every play. Once again, not opinion, as a fact. Look at the tape. He was all over the place. So I think that would be a phenomenal way to go out to be with the guy that started your coaching career with him, be at his alma mater. I think that would be amazing. Does it happen? Probably not. But that's just something that came into my mind.
That'd be super sick.
Talking about that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, I just like to think. I wholeheartedly agree with you with the quarterback thing. I think that whatever quarterback he brings in, like I said, he's going to be tough on him. I said he was tough on Tom, tough on Drew.
Well, you got to go find the right guy, right? That's the thing. Is like yet again, this sort of fact is going to haunt him. I mean, even more so now. I guess he could probably build a title-winning team without. We've seen it in college, right? Over the last few years, there's flawed QBs on college teams winning it all. I wonder if he'd be happy with that. I still think that he wants to send a message to the NFL on some level. Like I do think that he is. I don't necessarily. I mean, obviously he walked away without beating the record. Like 2 more seasons of coaching would have in the NFL would have smashed that all-time wins record. I'm sure if he went to the right place. I don't think that he's not a little petty. I think anyone who's like achieved that level of success has a little bit of an ego. And right. I do think he wants to probably be in the national conversation again by sending a guy, in a few years' time that it, maybe takes the NFL by storm immediately. All right. I like it. We're gonna talk more about the college game next year. That's for sure. Just in the Patriots realm and everything that's going on with that. I'm going to tell you who we've crossed off so far already. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our teams. We've crossed off the Jags. We've crossed off the Panthers, the Raiders, the Browns, the Titans, the Saints, the Giants, the Jets, the Colts, the Pats, the Cowboys, and the Bears. So, here we are. All 3 teams crossed off, maybe even later than it should have been. The Cowboys shooting themselves in the dick in that night game had, it didn't strike any fear into my heart that we were wrong about crossing them off. That was fucking wild. We'll come on to talk about that. But I want to pose you a little bit of a thought experiment. It's one of those if the season were to end now questions. And if the season were to end now, just going off of what we were just talking about, the college football stratosphere universe, the Patriots would have the 3rd overall pick right now. They are of the same wins with a lot of teams, but they have the worst, all the other things that make them the worst of that bunch, head-to-heads, et cetera, et cetera. So they would have the 3rd overall pick. In this thought experiment for the Pats, you guys don't need a QB. But I'm saying Sanders and Ward go 1st and 2nd. So you basically have the board to look at for any specific position. Who's your ideal take right now?
Well, we've talked mostly about Hunter. We've talked mostly about Will Campbell. But I'm actually going to go defense. There's a kid from Penn State. The name is Abdul Carter. Brother is special. And we haven't had that since Richard Seymour. And he was a big piece of the first dynasty. I think if he's there, and obviously, honestly, I think Hunter goes one. Honestly, so that's I'm saying that, but I think that Shador or Cam maybe go two, but I think Shador maybe falls to 4 or 5, maybe. I think he falls to the Raiders, something like that. And that's basically what they manifested. They literally want Shador in the Raiders uniform.
I mean, he would fit there. He would fit there perfectly, right? I mean,
Oh, for
he's
sure.
flashy.
Him
He's
and
Vegas.
Him and Brett Brown's been great, but I think that if Abdul Carter's there, or even I'm thinking I can't think of his name, but the corner from Michigan as well. To pair him with Christian Gonzalez, it's very evident that New England needs help on the defensive side of the ball. Yes, we know the offensive struggles, but that's mainly because of their line being trash. I think the line was a little bit better. Even
Will Johnson is the corner.
And I think Cole Train just coming back this week as well. He got off the of IR, so maybe that helps a little bit in the final four and makes him look a little bit more formidable. So the offensive line clearly should be the priority. But if you don't think that Will Campbell's the guy, or I think DeAndre Banks from Texas, go with the kid from Penn State, because he fills an immediate need. I still want them to go after someone like Chase Young in the offseason too, but getting someone like him paired with Chase Young or something like that would change your D line, immediately.
See, if I'm the Patriots, I'm taking Travis Hunter. I'm saying bring a guy in and legitimately play him the way guy, right? The way he's been playing in Colorado. But you give Drake May another option. You don't run him wide receiver 1 reps, right? You still need to address that issue. That's fine. But you run him enough reps to equal like a wide receiver 3, and you make him primarily, just in my estimation, my short amount of time watching him, Christian Gonzalez's partner, and immediately you have the best cornerback pairing in the NFL. And I think that's so Patriotsy, right? I mean, as you were just saying about Bill and his ability to sort of work together with make a secondary. It's so Patriotsy. I think their skill sets complement each other perfectly. I think the kid would have fucking 10 interceptions a year. I think that your still underrated. Your defense still underrated, like a couple pieces away from becoming elite. Take the Steelers approach. You already have your QB. You just fill it around him slowly. Become elite in one area. It would be my advice. So I agree with you. Go defensive. I would my pick would probably be Travis Hunter, because he can help you on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, just one final piece before we move on. If in some way the Hunter's already off the board, and which would be totally understandable if he goes 1. The kid from Arizona, Ted McMillan, you can't teach 6'5", 230. He literally looks like Mike Evans 2.0. And Mike Evans from day one has been the most consistent receiver in the NFL. Not the best, but he's been the most consistent. He looks like Mike Evans 2.0. And if that's the case,
I mean, if you're telling Drake it's time to get to work, that at that point, if you go sign that guy, and that guy is fucking enormous and so good, and I totally agree, he would be fucking sick for Drake May, especially. I think that they would blend together perfectly. You're telling Drake it's time to get to work. You better go get him some fucking O-linemen in the free agency. Then
for sure,
you better start spending some money, because that's what you're saying, right?
Yep. Right. I mean, especially when you don't know what it's going to be with David Andrews, even though he's looking to play 1 more year. You don't know what you're getting from Strange. Unfortunately, right now, you don't know what you've been getting from Michael Menu. So you got to find a replacement for Darian Lowe. You definitely got to find a replacement for DeMontre Jacobs. So you got to find a replacement for those guys. So those guys should be the backups. Like, they should not be in a starting role. So Elliott Wolf, Gerard Mayo, Jonathan Kraft, whoever else is in that brain trust, they have a lot of work to do in the offseason, to beef up that line and really beef up the team overall. So there's a tall task ahead of them, but we'll see how they get it done. I don't trust them right now, but we'll see how they.
It's funny because you named basically 2 guys that you seem actually excited about, and that's Abdul Carter and Ted McMillan. And I think what that tells me is you're thinking that the Pats cannot afford to miss in this draft, which actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're high, but they've been high, right? So people, I think, are starting to go a little bit more like oh, like when they drafted Drake May, looks like they got the guy. You can't afford to miss here with a pick that high again.
No.
And those are the two most NFL ready athletes, probably in
Mhm.
the top 10. That those are the two guys you named are guys that just have crazy athleticism or an NFL body, or, like you're going to have to teach Carter stuff. I think there's technique stuff that he has to learn. We'll see
Mhm.
how quickly he advances, but his athleticism and speed off the edges are insane. He's who I want for the Bears. I'm hoping
Yeah.
he drops.
Yeah, and
If
it's
he doesn't,
that's where he does, right? I think that without and you'll appreciate this analogy I'm about to bring up. So remember 2016, we draft your guy, Jalen Brown, right? 2017, at 3 again, we draft Tatum. You have
right.
you have your JB, right? You have your JB.
Yeah.
It's time to get your Tatum. It's time.
Yeah.
You cannot. So if you're at 3 again, you cannot miss at 3. You have to get a guy that from day one is saying, "Hey, I'm the guy here." 'Cause me personally, we've had a lot of different things that they want to talk about, and T Higgins is the name that's been thrown out there, and rightfully so. The dude's a hell of a talent. Me personally, like I said, if you don't get Abdul Carter, you want to go Tim McMillan, cool. I get McMillan on one side, and I'd call Seattle and say, "Hey, we got the second rounder and another receiver. Maybe it's Bourne or whatever. I don't know. Second round pick for DK Metcalf, and we're back in business. We're back in business. I'd be ready. I'd keep the tight ends because Hooper and Henry have done really well. I'd keep Gibson and Stevenson because I think despite the bad line, they've done okay this year. And then you're back in business. And now let's go to work. And that's the case. But because that sounds so ideal, I know that won't happen. So I'll have to live with whatever they do come April.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
mhm.
I honestly, all very salient points and pretty calm about and reasonable about the whole thing. It is looking like you're going to probably draft in the top 3, but there's a lot of teams with low win counts. The Bears are 8 places back from or sorry, 6 places back from the Pats right now in picks, but 1 game back in wins. Right.
Mhm.
So it's difficult for me to make like a fair assessment. Moving on to the Bears, same question. It's difficult for me to make a fair assessment about what they actually will be able to draft. I obviously know what our needs are. I really, really think we need more pressure in the trenches on defense, right? So if that means an edge rusher or it means whoever the best defensive lineman is in the class, I'm okay with it. It was Mason Graham from Michigan. I'm cool
Mhm.
with that if that happens. That being said, if we're in a position where we're drafting 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and somehow Will Campbell falls to us, we have to take him immediately because Caleb Williams is the most sacked Bears quarterback of all time, and there's still 4 games left to play. And I don't mean rookie. I mean, he's the most sacked Bears quarterback of all time as we have this conversation.
Yeah.
And that is just, quite frankly, a dereliction of fucking duty for your number 1 overall draft pick. And whoever is responsible for that needs to go. Like that's just the case. If
Mhm.
you have a guy like Campbell drop to you, you have to take him. If not, and you still draft some amalgamation of another role, like Kelvin Banks from Texas, just okay, he's huge. He can play guard and he can play tackle, like put him in there. I'm cool with that. Here's the thing. All that being said about the O-line, I'm a Bears fan, bro. Like, if they fucking draft a perennial edge rusher, I'm gonna be happy. If they draft a generational D tackle, I'm gonna be happy.
Mhm.
Like that. I'm just gonna be good with it. If they draft an absolutely sick defensive back, I'm gonna be happy. Um, that's just the way my brain is wired. You know what I mean? So, all that being said, you and I are in the same boat, and it's a great boat to be in the top 10 of this next draft and to not need a QB, right? Like this is
Right.
this is the
Yeah.
situation that you want to be in. You want to be looking, I mean, it's such an embarrassment of riches to be looking at these guys that aren't quarterback, because I would not love to be in the quarterback market in this draft, to be totally honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, outside of, Ward, Sanders, if Carson Beck would have been another guy, but he just got hurt, so I don't know. He probably
I
dropped
really do
some.
feel like they're going 1 and 2. I feel like Ward and Sanders are going 1 and 2.
Quinn Ewers from Texas. Uh, I think that, he could be a solid guy for some team. It's wild because like I said, listen, Arch Manning should go 1 whenever he comes out. Like, I don't know where he's gonna go, but phew, like what we seen earlier this season from him was special. So like I think that wherever he goes, look out. But I will say this for y'all. Say worst case scenario, Keenan Allen just guys up going to sign elsewhere, right? If T Mac falls to y'all at 9, and you pair him
I
with
don't know,
Roman,
man.
you pair him with Roman
I don't know.
Duze, hey, here you go, Caleb. We can grow the next 10
You
years.
got to trade DJ Moore at that point. You got to trade DJ Moore at that point. I really think I feel like we've been overstuffed in the wide receiver room. It's been a problem this year. I want Rome to be.
If you lose Keenan Allen, because to me, I think DJ Moore could be a slot guy or should be the slot guy. So you put Ted on the outside, Rome on the outside, and you let DJ Moore sort of be the other safety blanket with Cole Kmet, and you just say, hey, go to work. I think that would be lethal, in my opinion.
No, it would obviously be sick. Like, I would be so excited about that, obviously, coming into the season. It's just that my issue, the problem is, I mean, so many fucking things have gone wrong with that wide receiver room, and a lot of that really isn't their fault, in my opinion. Like, I think that DJ has come into what I would probably call fair criticism over some of his sort of body language, et cetera, et cetera. At the same time, and this isn't going to be popular with Bears fans, how the fuck would you feel? Like, if you were as good as being a wide receiver as DJ Moore is, and your whole career was spent in fucking Carolina and Chicago, and in Chicago in its current iteration, I think he thought they were building something when he came over there, and he's signed to a fucking lifetime contract, basically. Yeah, I'd probably be a little mad too. Does that excuse all of his behavior? No. But I really do think we have to go all in with him. And I love Keenan Allen. I mean, Keenan Allen's one of my favorite wide receivers. We haven't been able to use him properly. That's just the way it is. Like, I don't think that's really Keenan Allen's fault. I do think he's like slower, but he's still one of the best route runners I've ever seen in real life. But to be honest with you, and they don't give him like the appropriate sort of routes to run. So I do think he's going to take a step back or go to a different team, or I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think it was his fault. I think it's this organization's fault. Rome Odunze's dad was retweeting fucking any other organization. Rome has 1,500 passing yards, 1,100 passing yards, and he was like 1,500 now. 1,500 might be a little unrealistic, but yeah, I don't blame him for being mad either. We've completely fucking mishandled the whole haul of the first big draft that we've had in a long time, and it's the coaching. I mean, that is definitely the problem. But man, I got to tell you, just a little glimpse inside. I was feeling optimistic going into that San Francisco game because I was thinking Matt Eberflus is the problem. And the shit I was barking at the fucking screen when we were just getting absolutely trounced. I was like, who are you going to blame next? And this was just a blanket message to all the players, like everybody that's come out and said shit. The first thing Jalen Johnson put on tape after being allegedly the person who was the most outspoken in the locker room when Flus finally got fired, the first thing he put on tape was getting absolutely fucking cooked in the secondary. There's where we're having in the Bears fan base, we're having a come to Jesus moment about Tremaine Edwards. He's just not worth the money that he's fucking on. He can't drop back into coverage properly. He just looks ass, to be totally honest with you. He's just looked ass all season. I thought it was scheming, but then you start to realize there's cracks that you were blaming the coach for. Right now, there's a lot of this shit is the coach's fault, but there's cracks that you were blaming the coach for. And you said this to me weeks ago. You were like, I mean, you quit on the coach. Like, you're in the fucking, you're out there. Like, you got to put something out there. You're cool to just look ass. Like, that's fine with you. And I didn't want to hear that at the time, but honestly, you were right, because that's what that San Francisco game was. That's absolutely what that San Francisco game was.
It's a weak business, right? And if you're an independent contractor, there's 53 independent contractors in that locker room, regardless of who's calling the plays and leading your team, so to speak, you got to go out there and execute. Now, yes, are there moments where you don't believe in the plan and it makes you want to go rogue? Absolutely. I will sit here and I will acknowledge that. However, if you're looking to be a formidable team, or a key piece for the next team that you'll look at, or you're going to go to, I should say, excuse me, you got to make sure that you are on point as much as possible. So these last 4 games for every team that's struggling is an audition. Every week, all 18 weeks is an audition. So if you're not looking to give your all in these moments, despite your season being over, then what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we out there for?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Because today that was supposed to be the pride game. And instead, San Francisco made it their pride game. They were like, how about we just play fucking better than you? Now,
right.
I don't want to be the guy turning around and fucking, blaming the coaching staff again. But if you're promoting guys like you're on the front lines of fucking Stalingrad because Hitler just shot the last 3 generals, and you gotta promote another motherfucker so we can march your asses into the cold to get shot by Russians. That's fine. But a lot of those guys are probably going to be in over their head. And if on the off chance Thomas Brown is like promotable to the point of OC, where he's good enough to be an OC, great. Now you're asking him to be a head coach. And there's motherfuckers on the internet being like, well, we can safely say he's not the guy that's going to be the head coach. Yeah, obviously, dude. Obviously. I would still be perfectly happy if he was kept on at OC, depending on the choices we make in the offseason. But I mean, Washington, the defensive coordinator that got bumped up, he just didn't look like he knew what he was fucking doing. Now, could Flus call a defense? Yeah, most of the time he could. Like, honestly, there's a reason he got the head coaching job. He was a good play caller on defense. It was, it seemed to be working. He had a pretty good defense. Like, every statistical metric of his, like, good times, if you could call them that, were best red zone defense in the NFL for this whole season, right? Best, we had most takeaways last year. We get these superlatives as a defense, which made you sort of believe that we were going to actually turn into something if we could get the offensive side of the ball figured out. And then we looked at the defense today and it's like, oh shit, there's a lot of actual just soft parts. Maybe he was gluing it together a little bit. I'm not saying we should have kept him on it as head coach. No, God, no. But maybe he was gluing the defense together a little bit because there seemed to just be some cracks that need addressing. We haven't been able to get pressure on the QB all season before, guys. We just haven't. Like Montez Sweat is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's frustrating, man. It's frustrating to watch when the other quarterback has that much time. It's really hard for the secondary, to look good. It's really hard for the linebackers to look good if they're in coverage and the QB has a ton of time. There's not a lot of guys you can give a ton of time to in the NFL anymore, and we give a ton of time to everybody.
Right. And you can't play cover zero. If you play cover zero, you're going to get burnt, So, just relearned that a few weeks ago against Matt Stafford. You played cover zero, but he finds Puka Nakua on a crossing route, 160 yards. Ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, offenses are smarter, teams are smarter, quarterbacks are smarter, for the most part. And defense got to catch up. It's offensive league, but at the same time, defense still wins championships. So got to figure it out.
Yeah. I got to say, still very high on Caleb. Like, I really do think you're dumb if you're out there and saying that he's a bust. Like, I just don't know what you're watching because, quite frankly, he had a bad first half because they threw a defense at him that he'd never seen before, like an appropriately, properly played zone defense, where we really hadn't seen that, to be totally honest with you, because we weren't getting separation on our routes at all on man-to-man all season. So there was no need, right? There was no need to overcomplicate it when you're playing the Bears. Saw that zone defense came out in the second half, kind of got figured out.
Yeah, I do think the only thing that he's probably still paying for is that punting comment. Like, if you don't make that comment, you're not looking at people not looking at you a different way. But because you came in saying, hey, you're not gonna be punting a lot, and then that subsequently happens, like that's what people are like.
And then the absolute pinnacle of the season is how good Torrey Taylor is. Like, the best thing about the season is how good the punter is. That's not good.
New England, like Bryce Behringer has been amazing. It's like, for your best thing to be an all-pro punter, for that he's going to be an all-pro. So you get all-pro punter, great. You got all-pro punter,
great.
Awesome. Championship,
awesome. Love that. Not great. I like it when the Bears have good special teams, but it's a bonus more than anything else. I don't love our kicker. I haven't loved our kicker. It was just like a nice bounce back from the double doink era, but he doesn't have a big enough leg. It did fuck us a couple times. There's just more things that are a problem than I sort of thought. And I just don't want to talk myself into anything this coming off season, which we can't get here soon enough from the Bears perspective, to be totally honest with you. You guys fucking laughed at me when we were 4-5 and I said 4-13 and you were like, yeah, okay, what's your real prediction? But you and Mike, and I was like, fucking 4-13, and we are cruising to that fucking prediction right now. So I was dead by week.
Though. Because the fact, and I know they're on here. We'll talk about them. Like Denver, bro. Like seeing Bo, and once again, I know I'm jumping the gun. I just it's on my mind.
No, I'm happy to talk about them.
Denver being 8-5 with Bo Nix makes me sick.
I know.
I'm coughing on the show. I'm pissed off that Bo Nix is 8-5, and I'm fighting.
Me too.
10. What are we doing?
I've been fighting for my life. I've been fighting for my fucking life about Bo Nix being 8-5.
Unbelievable. Once again, New England's 2-5 in one score game. So that means they've been in it. They've been in 7 games. They've been in it one game.
Talk to me about that. We've been in
Wow.
so many fucking one-score games, dude. The fucking Hail Mary, every divisional game we've played has been a one-score game. Every single divisional game, and I include the fucking double-digit win Vikings, the double-digit win best favorites to come out of the NFC Lions. We were in games with both of them. We found fucking creative ways to lose. We're in a, the Broncos are stolen our season. The Broncos have fully stolen our fucking season. One of our two teams should have had the season that the Broncos are having right now. It's not fucking fair. It's just not fair. And I wish nothing but bad things on Sean Payton. I explained, I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row now, me having to come to Jesus about the Broncos, who I was desperately trying to leave in the cross-offs for the first like 7 to 8 weeks of the whole season. And Bobby being like, why are they still in the cross-offs, dude? Like, they're not that bad. And like, I just couldn't accept it. I couldn't live with it. I couldn't process it. I'm fighting for my fucking life about these Broncos, bro. I don't get it. I don't understand how it keeps happening. I think I need to really sit down and really, really closely watch a Broncos game. Like, when are they going to be on primetime? Have I missed a primetime game of theirs?
They've been mostly in the 4 o'clock window because of where they play at, but I don't think they've been on a Monday night or Sunday night game. I don't think. That may change if they stick it to the playoffs, obviously. But yeah, it's unbelievable to me that they have found a way to potentially be 9-5 going into next weekend. Like that's unreal to me. Unreal. Especially once again, I feel like it was yesterday this team gave up 70 points in Miami. Gave up 70. Not 20, not 30, not 40. 70. 70 in Espanol. 70 puntos. On the road in Miami, you gave up a 70, and you went from that, where Sean Payton was the coach, you go from that to now you're becoming a team that's going to get into the playoffs and maybe at the most get a wild card win. That's unbelievable to me. And they don't have, and that's another thing too, right? Outside of Cortland Sutton, like once again, we're not casual NFL fans, so we know more guys on the team, obviously. But to the casual fan, they don't know more about the receivers than Cortland Sutton. They don't. And I'm like, you're telling me that a receiver core is led by Cortland Sutton is out here doing damage to the NFL? What? Like, Bo Nix is leading all rookies in passing? What? Like, like I feel like Stone Cold. What? Bo Nix winning? What? Bo Nix going to the playoffs? What? Sean Payton in a running for coach of the year? What? I don't understand that. Like, you play my guy Russ? What? But now Russ is gonna go to the playoffs and dominate? What? Like, I'm just, oh my god, I just, it's too much. Like, my heart can't take it, man. I'm hurt. I'm
But
mad.
their whole defense, dude, like their whole defense, the same thing. Like I was just looking at them. I was looking at this team coming into the season, and I was like,
crazy.
I'm like, you got Patrick Surtain and then a bunch of fucking dudes I've never heard of, dude. I'm not worried about these guys. I'm not fucking worried about this. And then it turns out, yeah.
Jose is nice. Jose is nice.
What?
PS2, he's nice.
Sure.
He's elite. He's elite.
But I just had no like fear of them on the defensive side of the ball coming into this season. And like offensively, Bo Nix, like I thought he would look. I kind of thought how he would look how Drake May has kind of looked at times, but like not 100% convincing at any given time. And he's honestly been so consistent. And you were right. I mean, he needed to be coming in at 1,000,000 years old. I mean, I think he's 41, like 56, like 82 years old, something like that. And like, I got no, like, I just don't like it. I just don't, it's like, it feels like living in the wrong timeline. That's what it feels like to me watching that Broncos team be good.
Like the Tebow year?
What, say that again?
Feels like the Tebow year.
That's what I said. And I got fucking yelled at on this show. I said it feels like the fucking Tebow year. And they were like, no, it doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah, it feels like the Tebow year where they just kept winning games. You're just like, how is this happening? Like, how would they keep winning? And I'm a UF guy, so I love Tebow. But obviously he wasn't someone that went crazy in the NFL, obviously. But he would go 10 of 27 for like $170, but had to run the winning touchdown by rushing, and they would find a way to win. It was just like, what is going on?
The phrase smash mouth football was said more times than he had yards.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now, to Bo Nix's credit, he's obviously, like I said, he's leading, where he's in passing. He's had an excellent season. But I'm just like, man, I can't believe that he might end up being, you know, rookie of the year. I'm looking at his numbers now. So yeah, 2048, so I can't even say that. That's how that's how much I can't believe it. I'm tongue twisted saying it. 2,842 yards, 17 touchdowns, 64% completion rate. So unbelievable. 17 touchdowns, 8 picks.
It still should be Brock Bowers. They're not. It's not gonna be.
I said that. I agree. I think because of them being so bad, there's no way he gets it. Unfortunately, even though it's a team thing, but it's just like an individual award. But I don't know. I just think he deserves it though. Because like I say he's been by far the best.
Let's see how Jaden Daniels finishes out the season, because I mean he had just the absolute most convincing case across multiple weeks. I do understand making the case for Bono in context, but
they look shaky.
The most convincing guy over a few week period was Jaden, right? Yeah. Like if you're just, I feel like the votes go that way. I feel like it's just like who jumped out.
Yeah, he's out. Look, I'm looking at his numbers now. So he's only 23 yards behind Bo, 15 touchdowns, 6 picks. So numbers are comparable. And then obviously they're also 8-5. So I think whoever ends up with the better record, I don't know if they'll do co-rookie of the year, but once again, they both have been the two best thus far. I do think if Drake had a full season, he easily would have won it. Because to me, Drake is looking as good as anybody else out there. He just turns the ball over too much. So I think that's where he really is becoming Josh Allen too. Wait, no, early in his career, because Josh was a gunslinger and just threw everything all over the parking lot. It was like, okay, could have threw that one away, or let's run it instead. So, but either way, Drake's been the offense. But like I said, I hope that he gets he gets more of a fair shake in year 2. But
somewhat comparable schedules, to be honest with you. Broncos play the Colts, the Chargers, the Bengals, and then the Chiefs in Denver. And in a game where I'm not sure the Chiefs win is going to matter. Well, I mean, it might. There's contention for the bye week at this point, but maybe it doesn't.
They're going to get the 1 seed. But let's be real.
Maybe.
But Buffalo just give that back up over. So they're done. They lost. So can't see don't get the 1 seed.
They've lost a lot of close games. The Chiefs have lost a lot of close games. I'm sorry, won a lot of close games.
Well, you said it right. They just
right. Somehow the NFL was like, no,
unbelievable
every time, right?
Yeah,
you're not allowed to beat the Chiefs. It's in the rules. But like I'm not convinced that they're going to be the 1 seed, to be honest with you, by the end of it. I think they could potentially lose. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It probably is. You're right. I mean, the betting's probably getting small.
Is it? No, but but even forget about that. It's just like New England and in their prime. If you're betting it, if you bet it against 12, you usually lost your money. Don't do it. We've learned.
You're right.
Once again, I've conceded about our thoughts on Mahomes. Like, listen, as long as he's upright and they keep him upright and they give him just enough weapons, they're not going anywhere. They're not. Once again, they're not going to.
Yes, to travel.
Well, no one wins it every year, obviously, but they're going to be 12 to 14 wins every year. That's just what it is.
Yeah. So. No, I get it. I when you zoom out and look at it in context, for sure, they do come and play the Pittsburgh Steelers on the 25th of December, Christmas Day, and it'd be a nice Christmas present for me and the wife if they could find a way to lose the Kansas City Chiefs. I would like them to not win. But let's power through. Let's talk about the power rankings and how Bobby has them here. I'm going to read them out to you. I'm going to do something different this week because I'm sort of trying to zoom out from it a little bit, and it is sort of broken up into only like 3 tiers. So 10 Chargers, 9 Broncos, 8 Ravens, 7 Packers, 6 Vikings, 5 Steelers, 4 Eagles, 3 Bills, 2 Chiefs, 1 Lions. Now, we'll start with the bottom tier, which I think is 7 through 10. The Packers, the Ravens, the Broncos, the Chargers. That's 1 9-4 team and 3 8-5 teams.
Yep.
The Packers lost a close game to what the number 1 team on the list, so I think it's fair that they're there. The Ravens had a bye week, so it's possible to lose that in the context of the power rankings, but they seem to be surviving. They have the Giants next, and they're probably going to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
The Broncos are also coming off a bye, and they're playing the Colts next. I would probably bet on the Broncos for that.
Right.
And then the Chargers, I think just won a bit of a sort of a spiritual battle against the Chiefs. So let's start with them. What do you make so far? I mean, I've been waxing lyrical about Harbaugh being down there because I wanted Harbaugh in Chicago, and I think that that's a season I wish that we were having. You know,
Right.
just a solid defense and like working it out with your QB and trying to play to his strengths. And it might not be this year, but it seems like he could maybe do something in the future.
Right.
What do you make of that Chargers team? I wouldn't want to see him in the playoffs personally. I'd rather see a team like the Broncos. I'd rather see a team like the Packers. I wouldn't want to see the Chargers in the playoffs right now if I was any one of those top seeds.
I feel like historically, and I mean when I say historically, I'm like the last 20 years, they usually do well in December. Ironically, because they're
They're a San Diego team, yeah, and then LA.
Was that yeah? So for some reason they play better in December. It didn't always translate in January, but I mean, I'm like in the Phillip Rivers era, they always played well in December, and then they would sputter out come January. But I think this team kind of mirrors those teams of the past. I think they're super talented. I think that they can find a way to win a wild card week game, especially if Herbert catches fire. The kid from Georgia, the rookie from Georgia looks really good. Lam McConkey, who who also should have been a Patriot, but once again, I'm not going to open up that wound right now. But yeah, he's Quentin Johnson now looking respectable. Is it Jordan Palmer or Trey Palmer? I think it's Trey Palmer. He's the guy that's coming alive with them. So yeah, like they're doing just fine. I know they lost J.K. Dobbins again. We talk about Tour retiring. J.K. Dobbins made me to call it a career. Like I say, he just keeps getting terrible injury. It's just like enough may be enough, and I don't know how much more mentally he could take. Honestly, he might just put him in coaching and do something like that. But on the field, I think he's done. But needless to say, I think they're a good team. I feel you. I agree with you that they're a team you may not want to see, but they'll still be in the 7 to 10 range at season's end, in my opinion.
So you think the Broncos and the Chargers are probably going to be some variation of the 6th and 7th team going into the AFC playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, right now, if it ended today, the Chargers would play the Steelers. The Broncos would play the Bills. If I'm the Bills or the Steelers, I'd rather see the Chargers. I'd rather see the Broncos, personally. Do you agree?
I mean, sure. I mean, especially when you're not expecting. Now, I feel like Sean Payton is a better coach than Sean McDermott, though. If that's the case, I'd actually trust Sean Payton to make the right call at the final part of the game than Sean McDermott. We've seen Buffalo.
It is interesting. The AFC coaching picture is so funny.
Mm-hmm. But we've seen Buffalo be in some great duels and just continuously come up short. Doesn't matter who they face, unfortunately.
If they have potentially, the Buffalo Bills might see Tomlin, Peyton, or one of the Harbaugh brothers.
That's tough. That's
like,
tough.
That's what the Buffalo Bills are looking at right now, as it stands.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless they won out, they won out, and
they're hoping for D'Amico Ryans at this point. As it stands right now, they're hoping for a fucking D'Amico Ryans matchup with the Saints. If you're the Bills, like that's not good. If 4 out of the 5 teams you might potentially play in the first round have better coach than you, you're looking at Buffalo Bills everywhere, all over everything, aren't you?
Well, yeah, but I mean, just like that take I said about Mike McDaniel a couple of weeks ago with you, I feel that Sean McDermott is on the hot seat too.
You think?
Yeah, because if you can't have the caliber quarterback that he's had and not at least get to another AFC championship game. I think they haven't been to one since 2020, I think. If I'm not mistaken. They went to one in 2020 with no fans. And
but isn't that crazy where your offensive coordinator is like one of the more highly touted head coaching prospects? Like Joe Brady could potentially have one of like 8 jobs in this offseason. Mm-hmm. And you're saying his boss is going to get fired? Like if you're the Buffalo Bills, do you just fucking keep him?
I guess if you're looking to keep the continuity and also keep Josh Allen happy, then I think
he's got Josh Allen playing some of the best football of his career. He's a dark horse MVP candidate, which I don't think we're going to have time to talk about today, but I wanted to get your take on that.
I mean, when you are responsible for all 6 touchdowns, like once again, this goes back to what Craig and I said at the beginning of this show when we started in 2020. We adamantly said Josh Allen will be the best quarterback in this division when Brady leaves. And he's been nothing short of that. He is a phenomenal, phenomenal player. And if Drake May could be 15% of what Josh Allen has become, I'll be happy. I'll be happy because he's in that same build. He's not as big as Josh Allen, but he's about 6'4". But Josh Allen is a man out there amongst boys. And the dude just gets whatever
he's playing out of his fucking mind. I couldn't even believe he played that good and still lost that game. I understand, quite frankly, keeping the Bills where they are in the power rankings because that offense is out of control.
Yeah, I wonder, and that's what guys coming in and out. Like they lost Keon Coleman, they haven't always had Amari Cooper. I think they lost Dawson Knox. Like, I know Shakira's been really good, but they just, like I said, they've had multiple, parts. This kind of reminds me of the year that the Lions had lost Calvin Johnson, and people was like, "How do you replace Calvin Johnson?" And Matthew Stafford said, "Watch this," and the dude went ballistic. Obviously, Lions weren't that good of a team, but it was because of number 9.
Yeah,
he was all over the place. So, excuse me. So I love seeing those guys sling it all over the over the field. So, but yeah, he's special. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins MVP. He would deserve it. But I know Lamar was an early favorite, but they've taken a step back in recent weeks. So I think that Buffalo continues to play, and Josh Allen continues to play that way. Yeah, at season's end, when the NFL Honor Show comes up in February for the Super Bowl, yeah, he should be getting his first MVP trophy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you're the Ravens right now with former league MVP Lamar Jackson, you're 8-5, and you're in this Shark Tank too. I mean, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Texans are all 8-5. The Bills and the Steelers are 10-3, and the Chiefs are 12-1. So, the Texans aren't looking like world beaters like maybe we thought they were, but they're still going to be probably the 4th seed, maybe the 5th, 6th would probably be a big drop from this point forward. But if you're the Ravens, you're swimming with sharks.
If they win the division, they'll be in the top 4.
Oh, that's right. Of course. Yeah. They're definitely going to win their division.
Yes.
It's looking like, right? Yeah, let me look at it in the divisional section here. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, they'll be fine. They'll be in the top 4, but I mean, any of those 8-5 teams could all swap places. Broncos, Chargers, Ravens. I don't think you want to see any of them if you're the Texans, to be totally honest with you. Probably Broncos the most out of all 3, but
I'd
that's going to be rough.
love to see Baltimore, Houston in the first round. I would love to see that match.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. That's how it is right now. It if it ended today.
Yeah.
So that would be pretty cool.
Fans want to see it, but as a fan looking in that has no dog in the fight, I would love to see Baltimore, Houston. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. I wouldn't mind Pittsburgh, Baltimore, to be honest with you. If Pittsburgh had the home field advantage, I feel like that would be a banger too. Let's look at the NFC in the same context. If it ended today, the Lions would get the bye. The Commanders would play the Eagles. That'd be an interesting situation to see play out. I mean, conceivably, since the Commanders have sort of gone on a downtrend, you look at the Eagles. I mean, I don't know if I'd really buy all the locker room drama stuff. It seems like it might have been a little bit overblown this week, all that stuff. But do they or do they not look like the team that would blow it right now in the NFC? But the Cowboys not really in the conversation. The Cowboys that take that mantle every single year, which is like, we're going to go and lay a fucking egg in the first round. Like, we're really going to show you like how to fuck something up. That's been their thing. With the Sirianni factor, with the way that Philadelphia is as sort of an NFL institution, take that how you will. I know how you're going to take it, right? Which is how I meant it. Do you see them? Could they potentially explode against the Commanders in the first round? Because I really, of all the big fuck ups, I could really see that happening.
So that would be beautiful. It really would be.
I mean, it also could be the Packers, who will love handing teams like early playoff losses.
With any team that we saw last year that can find a way to smack you on the road, it could be them. So we'll see. But I don't think I think they the Packers over. I think they wouldn't go past the division round in my opinion, right? I don't think they go any further than that.
No, same, yeah.
Unless some things fell in their favor. But anyways.
But to see your divisional opponent in the Commanders, if you're Philadelphia, to see those fuckers show up, like it's not going to feel good.
I would love to see that fall now. And now we opened up the show talking about Kendrick and Drake, but we did later on speak about Bill Belichick. Could you imagine if he did UNC like the way he did the Jets? and Sirianni gets fired, and right, and he says, "Hmm." And Jeffrey Lurie calls him and says, "Hey, I know you're down in
You
Wilmington."
signed that shit yet? You signed that contract
Yeah.
yet?
He's like, "As I know you in Chapel Hill, I know you're helping them recruit, but I'm gonna let go of Nick Sirianni. Come get these last 15 here. Go out a legend."
Oh my God. He would absolutely win a Super Bowl with that team. He would absolutely fucking win a Super Bowl with that team.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They
And
should
I
have done that shit this last year.
He should have, but I mean, like I said, Jeffrey Lurie didn't part ways, like Howard Roseman didn't part ways with Sirianni. I don't know why. I feel like he's been on the hot seat, but once again, but Philly's been relevant really the
I mean,
last
their
10.
roster is sick, dude. It's so good. You know, their
Yeah.
biggest problem that they have is drama coming out that like one of their stud wide receivers doesn't get enough targets. You know, like it's not a bad problem to have.
So someone I won't say their name because it's I don't really want to name it on the show, but one of my homeboys said, and I laughed. I thought this was one of the funniest comments ever. He called Jalen Hurts the Black Alex Smith. What are your thoughts?
Oh my God. I don't agree at all by initial reaction. I don't think that they're-
I said, "Oh my God." Like I said, "Ouch." I'm like, I don't know if that's a great comparison. I get why he said it, but I was just like, wow, I'm like the Black.
I understand what he's comparing. It's just that like, no, they're not at all the same QB. I understand what he's saying in that if you it's like you're not talented enough to be the center of attention, right? You're not talented enough to have the whole sort of offense built around you. And I feel like there's a lot of I mean, I don't want to criticize Jalen Hurts for playing well. That just is dumb. Like he's had a good year. And
Mhm.
it's probably just been annoying to me that like Saquon's not getting like the amount of touchdowns he should probably have because like Jalen Hurts fucking vultures them at the line, and the whole butt push thing was like really annoying to me. Like it was like I don't know, it feels dumb and cheap. That being said, like I don't know, he's sort of undeniably like having a great year, so it's like hard for me to shit on him. Is he my favorite quarterback? No. Does that have a lot to do with him playing in Philadelphia? Yeah. Do I think he's a lot better than Alex Smith? Yes. Like yeah. So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I laugh hysterically. So this season, so he's at 2,602 yards and 16 touchdowns, 5 picks. So that is very Alex Smith like.
Yeah, but what about all the yards on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, no, well, I mean, Alex Smith was a pretty good runner,
Not
before
like that
the
though.
injury.
Not like that though. Not like
Not to the level of what Hurts is. What I'm saying, but like if you needed for him to go, let's say 4 rushes for like 45 yards, he could do that in his prime. Especially in the San Francisco days. So, I remember that play actually that he had to get Sean Payton. Remember that long run he had in the playoffs against the Saints where he scored a winning touchdown.
yeah. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but Hurts has got like 7 rushing TDs this year.
Well,
It's
no,
like-
no, that's mainly because of the goal line stuff. Like he's not running 40 yards for a touchdown. That's not his game.
No,
Um,
I know, but he's like the way that he's factoring in the way that he uses his feet, the way like when and where he chooses to use his feet
Yeah,
this year, I think
definitely
he's been
want more
incredibly
IQ
effective.
for sure. But I once again, just for my entertainment, I thought that was hilarious. I had to bring that
I
up.
also don't think he has the same arm. I'm just saying, I don't see
Yeah.
like fucking. I feel like Hurts
Yeah,
like
but
his.
once again, Albie Smith was the number 1 pick. It's like so there
No,
was
I know. It's just that like Alex Smith, like I don't know. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right, and Alex Smith is just too white in my head, and I just can't like compute it. I just can't make it work in my head. I don't know.
I think the problem is it's funny. Welcome to Alex Smith now, right? But he had too many coaches early on that we never really saw his full potential until a guy named Jim Harbaugh came over there and he actually looked good before he moved on to Kaepernick. So, and then obviously, Andy Smith survived his career in Kansas City before getting Mahomes. So yeah, I mean that he better be thankful for Harbaugh and Reed because it saved his career. But yeah, I thought that was funny. But needless to say, they should get the job done. I'm with AJ Brown. Get him the ball. Get Devontae Smith the ball. Get guarded the ball. Those guys should be involved because AJ Brown is a monster. There's a reason why you traded for him and gave him $100 million deal.
No, 100%.
Give him the ball.
I mean, I think
You can make a
that-
play.
I think that what I'm seeing, yeah. But I think that what I'm seeing though is that like last year, his safety valve was that he could throw it up to him, like down the sideline at any point, and he would probably go catch it, right? Like, and I just think that Hurts has actually made some progress at the quarterback position this year. I think his ability to like make decisions has gotten better. I think that like when he chooses to run, like granted, like this is a glut of games where that I'm kind of pulling from where he essentially had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good games in a row. And that was against the Browns, the Giants, the Bengals, the Jags, and the Cowboys. Not, it's a good year to play the Cowboys, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's like, is it absolutely crazy to say that like he's having a good year? No. He had a few good games against maybe some shitty teams, but I don't know. If I thought about it and I had to pick one of the two guys to like build my franchise around, I think we pick Jalen Hurts like 10,000 times out of 10,000. But maybe I'm razzled by the dazzle. Maybe
and for those, when you listen back to this, whether it be on audio or on the YouTube version, because we are now on Spotify, you can leave comments on the show. So if you listen to audio, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you think that Alex Smith.
It just seems like now it was like the more you talked, the more it started to sort of make sense. But it sounded like such an outrageous like accusation at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay, so in the NFC, that's fun. Commanders play the Eagles. That could be fun. If it ended today, the Packers would play the Seahawks. I don't know. I wouldn't want to play the Seahawks right now. They seem a little bit on the resurgence side. They seem to be sitting pretty at number 1 in their division. I don't know if I'd want to play them.
I mean, if you listen, I don't know if it was the show I did this week or it might have been with you last week. I can't remember. The days are blended together. It's amazing that with a rookie coach, they're 8-5.
I think he's pretty good though.
I know, but
especially
I'm just like,
following up Pete Carroll.
Fuck, that's what I'm saying. You follow a legend.
No, right.
Right?
Oh, you're mad. Yeah, you're mad about the Patriots.
I'm just like, you follow a legend, and you're knocking at the door of the playoffs. You have Geno Smith as your quarterback. Geno Smith is not Russ. Geno Smith is not Matt Hasselbeck. Geno Smith is not Jim Zorn. He's not any of those guys from Seattle that were great. So it's like, wait a minute. Like this man's coming in here and you're 8-5, and you got I love Kenny Walker. Like I'm a Kenny Walker fan. I think he's a really good running back. I'm just a running back guy on this show anyways. Like I'm always gonna root for the running backs. But you got Kenny Walker, you got JSN from Ohio State, you got DK Metcalf, you still got the veteran Tyler Lockett. So they have an offense there, and you don't know anyone really on their defense, but they're finding a way. So it's just like I said, it's just really infuriating.
Yeah.
To take over for a guy that's been there for years, and you're knocking at the door. But hey, we got the lighthouse, everyone. So congratulations, Pats fans. Great. What a joke.
It does feel like our respective franchises should have had different seasons, and there's teams out there having the season that we should be having.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
And the only thing standing in the way of that usually is incompetence. The thing that seems to always ring that same bell every year is that somebody incompetent is probably running the show, and you might need to make a change higher up than you think. That's true of my team. That's true of your team. That's true of a lot of the teams on the end. We've discussed a lot of the elite teams. If the season ended now, there'd be a lot of fun matchups. If the season ended now, we would be sad. We have more games to play. We got to see more. It's shaping up nicely, though. We've described to you the playoff picture. You could wait a minute. You could get it how you live it. 10 toes in, we're standing on business. I mean, listen, we talked about rap music. We talked about the NFL. We covered it all. We run the gamut here at Missing the Point. For myself, DK Sizzle. For the Hollywood, Rayshawn Buchanan. I was about to call you the real BK because I'm so used to saying that, but Bobby has COVID. Feel better, Bobby.
I'm the black Bobby.
Yeah. You're for myself and the black Alex Smith. This has been Missing the Point.
Hi, everyone. I'm Geraldine Glass, a leader in the field of music as medicine, and I'm excited to share with you my newest release of healing sound, Pentatonic Visions, with Chris Scholler and Electrocast Records. Immerse yourself in ethereal realms where the harmonies of nature, tribal rhythms, and soundscapes blend with the crystal singing bowls. It's out now, streaming on all platforms.
Ever thought about starting your own podcast?
Do you have a business or a message you want to share with the world?
Well, now it's easier than ever with Electricast. Hi, I'm Mark Netter.
And I'm Peter Rafelson. We're the founders of Electricast Media.
Whether you want to start a new podcast or already have one, join Electricast to grow your audience, monetize your content, and build your community.
With our simple sign-up, you get free promotion, world-class analytics, premium ads, and personal support.
Go to electricast.com and join our community today.
Electricast. Transform your influence.
Electricast. Electricast.